Did you know business banking does not have to be a headache with these hidden fees and these minimum balances and all of that? No, it does not. And today we're going to hear some solutions from my friend Deanna. She's up in Toronto, Canada, and she is a profit first professional. And she's going to share with us about Relay and how we can set up the Mike Michalowicz profit first plan for lawn care business, landscaping business, really anything in the trades, what that looks like and the proper way to do that. I talk a lot on my podcast about Mike Michalowicz's awesome audiobook, Profit First. And so we're going to talk today what that Profit First implementation looks like for a lawn care landscaping business. And here is my special guest for today's Green Industry podcast, Deanna from Toronto. Deanna, welcome to the Green Industry podcast.
Hey, thank you so much for having me. I'm happy to be here.
So tell us a little bit about who you are and what you do with Relay.
Yes. So I'll start with Relay. Relay is an online banking platform and money management system. And we offer free banking for small businesses, which is very popular, or it should be. And I'm a product specialist here. So I help accountants, bookkeepers, business owners implement using Relay for their business and save them lots of money at the same time.
And what's your affiliation with the famous Mike Michalowicz?
So Relay is the official banking partner of Profit First, and Mike Michalowicz is the author of Profit First. For anybody here listening today, Profit First is a book, and it's about a cash flow methodology. So it's a different way to run your business and make it more successful. I know, Paul, you kind of do a little bit of a version of that, so I'm excited to talk about that. But Relay is the official banking partner for that, and I'm also a Profit First professional myself. So I've actually been trained to run Profit First, and I get to see businesses implement it every day.
Fantastic. Yeah, just a little behind the scenes, Deanna, my flow. I have multiple accounts, income account, operating expense account, obviously the tax account, which I hate, but you gotta set money aside for taxes.
Yeah.
And I work with bookkeepers, Megan and Joey, and they're huge Profit First fanatics and implementers, and they're great. But this idea of multiple bank accounts, somebody just getting into the lawn care landscaping business, can you give us like a synopsis or overview of what the Mike Michalowicz plan is? I know I do a hybrid version of it, but if someone wants to dot the I and cross the T, what does that actually look like for a lawn care business owner?
Yeah, so the idea there is you would open 5 different bank accounts for your business. You would have an income account where all of the funds come in every time you get deposits for the business. And then you have 4 other accounts that you can allocate funds to throughout the month. So this would be an owner's compensation account, a tax account, a operating expenses account, and a profit account. And the idea here is you're able to separate funds a few times a month into different areas of the business. And the best example of this is, even if it's your first year in business, you know that tax season is coming, and it might not be something that you've wanted to plan for yet, but tax season is going to come no matter what. And so being able to set aside money for that season every single year is crucial, because you're not surprised by a bill when that April rolls around, and you can actually plan for it. And it doesn't have to stunt the growth of your business. And I know, Paul, you mentioned you've got a tax account, so I'm sure you can probably relate to how it feels. Maybe your first year in business, you didn't have one, and your second one you did. But it makes all the difference being able to earmark funds for different responsibilities in your business.
Right. And if you just have one big account with all your money in it, you really don't know what's going on. So I have it set up. Every transaction that comes in, Deanna, I take a percentage of that and I instantly transfer it over to the tax account. So I know Canada, USA, and even within the USA, there's so many different tax variables. Yeah. But when my next tax bill is due, I already have the money saved up, and it's just a matter of fact of going to the EFTPS and paying that money and getting all worked up about it. And then but I have the money. I don't know how much I got to send, but it's there. So in the world of online banking, I know it's getting so popular. My biggest friction when I read Mike Michalowicz's book and audiobook, and he was on Stan Genetics podcast years ago, and I listened to that and I was like, I'm going to try this. And I went into my bank, and then they have all these fees. Like if you want to set up an account, you have to have a minimum balance. And I was a chuck in the truck. I didn't have enough money to, open up this account. And I think they wanted $5,000, which back then it was like, might have been $1 million. Yes. And then to have 5 different accounts of that, you have to pay a monthly fee. And they didn't know the Mike McCallowitz plan, but you're telling me there's banking out there that actually understands this concept and doesn't have fees connected to opening these multiple accounts?
Believe it or not, that's true. I've had a lot of business owners go through the same story as you, Paul. They go into their bank and the bank usually gives them a very hard time if they want to open it. And if they do allow them to open multiple accounts, generally it's going to cost them an arm and a leg. And no matter where you're at in your business, whether you're brand new or you've had a business for a while, paying bank fees is still a challenge no matter where you're at in your journey. So yes, Relay, when you open up your business account with us, you can have actually up to 20 accounts. So I like to call it Profit First Plus. You've got tons of accounts to work with here, and none of them have any minimum balances or monthly fees, which is really, really nice and supports businesses being able to open multiple accounts. Even if you're just going to start with one account and a tax account on the aside, start somewhere because it's going to make you make way more better financial decisions in your business.
So no hidden fees. You can go in and open the 5 accounts and there's no minimum balance, if I'm hearing you correctly, and there's no fees.
Yeah, you got it. There's only 2 things that we charge for on Relay. That is outgoing wires. So $5 domestically, $10 internationally. And then we also have an upgrade package. It's called Relay Pro. This is for businesses that have a lot of outgoing payments or want some approvals on payments or do a lot of wires. That's a subscription you can opt into. But if you don't sign up for the subscription and you don't do any wires, it is completely free to bank with Relay.
And then how does that sync up with QuickBooks Online? I know that's the most popular accounting software that my audience uses. You guys integrate with them, or how does that work?
Yeah, we integrate directly with QuickBooks Online and Xero. Those are the main platforms that we see connecting to Relay, but you connect your bank feed directly to the accounting software and you don't have to reconnect it again. I'm sure anybody here that has used QuickBooks and probably a local bank understands the trouble of that feed disconnecting, and having it truly integrated into your bank makes all the difference. The transactions are clean, everything is where it should be. And if you work with an accountant or bookkeeper like you do, Paul, they get direct access to all that information and don't have to bug you every day for all that little stuff.
So switching banking to Relay, walk us through that process. If somebody's got their local, state, regional bank or local credit union, or one of these big banks in America with their wonderful customer service, how do they switch from a Chase or Bank of America, or those are some of the big banks we have here. How do they switch their accounts over to Relay?
So we've tried to make this as seamless as possible because we know generally people don't want to switch their business bank, even if they're very challenged by their current relationship. And most people are, right? Either you're experiencing challenges with fees, with overall technology, or with access to your bank. So the actual sign up to process to Relay is very simple. It'll take you about 10 minutes and it's completely virtual. So you can do it from anywhere. You'll need your SSN, your EIN, home and business address, your ID, possibly your EIN letter and some other documentation, but that process is done within 10 minutes and you wait a few hours to be approved. Now, once you're approved and ready to go on Relay, we've actually created something called a bank switching checklist or an onboarding checklist. And the idea here is you can get connected, you connect your bank to Relay directly, your local bank or your big bank, whatever you have. And once it's connected, we can actually pull a list of recurring transactions from your other bank. So if you're deciding to switch all of your operations over to Relay, we will give you a list to work off of so you can go and update all your payment providers, wherever you have recurring transactions coming in and out of the business, to make that transition process easy. And another really cool thing about this checklist is it not only pulls recurring transactions, but if you're coming to Relay to do something like Profit First or similar, like a different version of it, you can bulk create your accounts all together, which is really, really cool. So we've tried to be as thoughtful about this process as possible, but signing up for a bank account is not this big arduous process that we relate to in the past. It's very, very simple and easy with Relay.
Yeah, and I'm going to leave the link in today's show notes. If you guys can click on that and you can get started with this simple switch, or if you want to get more information, just click on the link in today's show notes. I know a big issue is security. I was just getting gas today, and before I put my card in the pump, I was checking if it had one of those skimmer things on top of it because I was in the hood. And I live in Atlanta. Toronto looks like a nice, clean city, but Atlanta, we got some sketchy parts, and I was low on gas. So anyway, but security is a big deal with our finances. Walk us through, what banking with Relay has in security features.
That's a great question, and something everybody should be concerned about, whether you're doing online or in-person banking. And for that example specifically, Paul, all of our Relay debit cards are partnered with Visa, and they're covered by their zero liability insurance policy. So if you notice a transaction that isn't yours or you don't recognize it, you can immediately dispute that transaction directly in your Relay account, and it'll open up a case with our support team and with Visa. So you can deal with that immediately, and you can get the funds back once we do an investigation. But beyond that, Relay also offers FDIC insurance for your business accounts, and that's up to $3 million. So if you are often storing funds in the bank, you want to make sure it's insured, you don't want to hit the maximum at other accounts that you have, Relay covers up to $3 million. But another really, really great piece of security that Relay provides is we have mandatory 2FA for all users, and we have permission levels available too. So I'm sure some people on the call today can relate to maybe they've hired a bookkeeper or an accountant, and maybe their bank won't let them give access to anybody else, or it's very hard to give access, or if they have to pay for access. That's not how it works on Relay. You can give access to anybody you want under their own separate set of credentials. So the 2FA codes are set to the individual users. You can give people restricted access, full access, whatever you'd like. And there's a session log as well. So if you do have a bookkeeper signing into your account, or an employee, a business partner, you're actually able to track when they're signing in and what's going on. So we try to be very, very thoughtful, because everything is online these days, and your business likely is too. We just want to keep you safe.
And explain a little bit more about the relationship with Mike McAllowitz and the trades, and how you guys tailor to our industry, or and other trades as well, but lawn care, landscaping business owners versus the big banks that we're just a number, and it's more their audience or customer is kind of any Tom, Dick, or Harry. Explain how you guys are tailored for the trades.
One of the main reasons I think we're tailored for trades is because trades business owners are on the go, right? Often, especially if you're starting your business, you're not behind a desk, right? You're out in that truck, you're servicing clients, you're out and about, and that's how you operate your business. So there shouldn't be any difference with your banking. With Relay, you can get 24/7 support wherever you are, whether it's you're mobile, on the road, or actually at a customer's house. We've got real humans you can call in and talk to. We've got email 24/7. We've got chat, lots of different options. But Relay, the platform itself, is very intuitive. So if this is something new you're adding into your tech stack as a business owner, it's not a big learning curve, and you can just do everything from your phone. So if you are always on the go, everything's available to you. Nothing is going to require you to physically go into a branch, take time out of your busy schedule to do, because we don't have any physical branches. We are 100% online. So I think that's a really, really great tie-in for the trades industry, but it's also really great, easy access. So if you're at the point in your business where you have employees, or you're working with contractors, and you want to be able to share some responsibility, maybe create debit cards for them with certain limits, that's something you can do on Relay. But you get all the background data on these transactions. You know exactly where your employees are spending money. You can also require receipts now too. And that's not something I've ever heard of from any other banking platform. It's something free built into Relay. You can require receipts for all transactions. So your employees will get a text message as soon as they make an in-person purchase, prompting them to upload a receipt, and it'll match directly to the transaction within Relay. So I think that's great for trades too, especially if you are employing some people, and it just gives you more control, more visibility of what's happening inside your business day to day.
In regards to checks, how does that work? And I know my audience, if they've listened for any amount of time, I recommend getting a card on file. We use a CRM. We have them recommend Jobber. You get their card on file, and you can just charge their card accordingly. But sometimes Mrs. Wilson or Mr. Smith gives you a check for the job. You guys are an online bank. How does that work if we have a physical check in hand?
That's a great question. And you can't always control over how you're getting paid. The bottom line is that you're getting paid, right? So if you do get a physical check, being a mobile bank, we do all of our check deposits on the mobile app. You download that on Relay, take a photo of the front and back, and you can deposit it immediately.
And is there a limit? Because one of the local banks here in Atlanta, you can only do $6,000 a day. And sometimes the check is $8,000 and you have to physically go in. So what about these larger checks? Hopefully you guys are getting big checks out there. Can you guys handle that, or is there a delay, or what's that look like?
So every business has different levels and levels of transaction limits depending on your business. A ton of the different things that our compliance team will look into. But once you're approved, this is something you're able to actually log into Relay and view all of your transaction limits. So I can't speak to specific limits because it's very dependent on the business. However, if you log in and you see you see a transaction limit that your check is not going to work there, you can actually apply for a temporary or permanent check deposit increase. So you can submit some extra documentation and our team will look at it, review it, and they can upgrade your limits. Now, let's say you have a check totally out of the norm and it's really big. Maybe it's $200,000, which I hope everybody on this listening to this podcast gets one day.
Good. Yeah. That sounds real good.
Nice. Another option is a lot of people will keep another banking relationship. It's very common for business owners to do this just to diversify your funds and have other options out there. But you can always deposit into a local branch, and Relay does connect to 100% of US banks, whether they're business or personal. So if you did need to deposit this $200,000 check at a local bank, you could then transfer it into Relay for free. So we're very friendly with other banks, and I think that's important for business owners because you should never have all of your eggs in one basket. It's nice to have multiple different relationships. And so you can work easily with a local bank too.
Okay. And tell us a little bit more of the history with Mike Michalowicz and how you guys got in partnership with him and all of that. I think that's very intriguing because he's a fan favorite amongst our audience.
Yeah, it's impossible for Mike not to be a fan favorite. If you've listened to his book, read his book, or seen him speak anywhere, he's pretty fantastic. And Relay, since we were created, we've always had the ability to open 20 different accounts for your business. And this is, at the time, was pretty unheard of. And I'm sure many people today still think that it's unheard of. Why would you need that many? And so we didn't have that feature in place for Profit First, but that's generally where our following started to come from, is people saw, wow, if you operate with a banking platform like Relay, you can run systems like this and open multiple accounts, and you're not hitting roadblocks. Just like you mentioned earlier, Paul, if you went to your local bank and they were going to charge you an arm and a leg to run this, it might discourage you from going to take up a method like Profit First. So we've always had that natural ability to do that. And so that following just got bigger and bigger, and we got to talking with a lot of businesses that said, you need to talk to Mike, you need to talk to the team over at Profit First and see if there can be a partnership. And so eventually it was just organic how we ended up connecting. And last April, we were announced specifically that we are the official banking partner of Profit First. So it's been over a year now and it's been fantastic.
Yeah, that's wonderful. And I'm not going to name the bank here in Atlanta that gives me fees all the time, but when I opened up all these accounts, then it was like I kept getting, and the lady's like, "Oh, you're not going to get any fees. You're not going to get any fees." And then next thing you know, I'm like, "Well, what's this $12 fee?" And I'm very frugal, so $12. I'm storming in her office. We need it. And oh, well, you didn't have a high enough account balance, and then oh, well, you had too many transactions. I'm talking like every month, it seems like there's another fee, and I have multiple accounts and money's coming and going, and it's just like they're nickeling and diming me, and these fees are inevitable. So my buddy Naylor Taliaferro was telling me about you guys and about everything that you just spelled out. He had mentioned to me, and I was like, man, this is I'm definitely gonna look into this. And for somebody who's listening to this and wants to take the next steps, and I mentioned the links in the show notes, but like, what does that look like to start that switch, or to inquire, to learn more about the switch? What's your onboarding team and stuff do to make that seamless?
Yeah, it's a great question. So you would just head directly to the Relay website or the link that you're going to be posting for the podcast, Paul, and you can sign up directly there. It'll take you about 10 minutes, but we've got tons of information on the Relay website, not only about the sign-up process, which is all virtual, and you'll just need your typical business documents like an EIN letter, ID, SSN, that kind of thing. But we've got lots of education on how business owners start implementing Profit First, or how to use multiple accounts, tons of different ways to utilize Relay and the features that we have. So you're not getting just a banking platform, you're getting a lot of background detail as well. And something that I would also mention just about our partnership with Mike Michalowicz and Profit First is, Relay is a platform that really implements the customer feedback that we get. And that's how we decide what products we're going to add to Relay and what we're going to change and implement in the future. And one of the big features that came out of this partnership with Profit First and Mike was the ability to do auto transfers. So if you're wanting to use multiple accounts, even just a tax account, you have the ability now in Relay to by percentage transfer funds automatically through your business. So if you have a savings goal in mind, or you're like, I'm swamped this week, I know I'm not going to go in there and transfer funds to my tax account or my payroll account, you can automate that through Relay. And the idea of that feature came from our customers. So it's pretty cool to work with a banking platform that really cares about the customer feedback and likes to implement it as soon as we can.
That is absolutely fantastic. Well, Dan, is there anything we're leaving out here that needs addressed?
Anything we're leaving out? I don't think so. I just want to say good luck to everybody. I'm sure everybody is going like mad trying to sign up for Relay right now. So everybody, good luck with your application. I think it's awesome. Thank you so much for having me, though.
Yeah, this was really cool. If you guys are watching on YouTube and see Deanna's background, that's Toronto, huh? Over your shoulder.
That's Toronto. Yep.
I went there one time. It was so clean. I went to a Toronto Blue Jays baseball game in their old stadium.
Okay.
And that city was so clean, and I had a wonderful time up there.
Yeah, we got a lot of traffic for the Blue Jays. I'm about a 20-minute walk from the stadium. So I know when it's game day because I see a sea of blue jerseys everywhere.
Yeah. And then you guys got the Toronto Raptors and
the Maple Leafs.
Yeah. There you
go.
Cool. Well, I really appreciate the time, and this is super cool. So you guys can click on the link in today's show notes, and definitely if you haven't watched or listened to Mike's audiobook, Profit First, this will make a lot more sense. But basically, you'll have your income account, all the money your business makes can go into that account that you could have with Relay. Then you can set aside money into your tax savings account. You'll have money going into your operating expense account. You'll have money going to your profit account. Then you have money going into your payroll account. I think I got all those right. And Mike explains everything in his book, Profit First. But that way, everything's organized. Your taxes are paid. Your business is profitable. And it really helps. When I started doing a hybrid version of this, Deanna, it helped me raise my prices because I realized I don't have enough money to do all this stuff. And then I started, increasing my price that I'm charging to the customer. And now I do have money to be profitable, to pay my taxes, to pay myself owner's compensation. And it's all good. So this is really cool that there's something out there where there's no hidden fees, there's no minimum balances, and you can get started with your 5 accounts or more right away.
I think what you just said, Paul, is really interesting. And it goes to the core of Profit First for people wanting to make a change in their businesses. It's more of a change of habit, right? A change of mindset. You said that, the first thing you noticed was you had to change your prices. And that's the idea of it versus, maybe I can't take home as much, or maybe something suffers with my personal life because I can't afford it. But where else can I find this in the business? What other changes can I make versus making you suffer as the business owner?
Yeah, when you get your finances organized, the numbers tell a story. And if you just got a lump sum going into one account and going out of the account, the balance might be fat and big, but then all of a sudden it's like, where did it all go? And it's just having a really solid bookkeeper, having really clean, organized finances has been a game changer for me. And it's great, to know Relay's out here now as well to assist us to set these accounts up so we don't get nickel and dime with all these fees and things of that nature when we try to implement the Mike Michalowicz plan, Profit First plan.
You've got enough going on. Why worry about the bank fees, right?
Cool. Well, thank you so much for your time, and enjoy beautiful summer in Toronto. I heard it's awesome up there in the summers.
It is. Toronto comes alive in the summer, that's for sure.
Cool.